we just had WWE Raw and SmackDown, the final Raw and SmackDown of 2017. Some mixed results. I wasn't feeling the whole Christmas night broadcast, although it seemed to do pretty well in the ratings. I wasn't feeling what I saw on SmackDown with the U.S. title. Julian, what'd you think about everything that went down in the final WWE week of 2017?
Oof, I feel sorry for everybody who actually went there on Monday. So the only thing that was good for me was the beginning and the end. But why did John Cena had to beat Elias in a 15-minute match? Why did that have to happen? Can you tell me?
I guess they wanted to make Elias look good. I don't think he looked really good. I don't really understand their fascination with him. I think he's a perfectly fine mid-card act, but other than that, I don't need to see him in title matches. I don't need to see him in 15-minute matches with John Cena. John Cena looked rusty himself. I thought it was a bad spot to put
don't get me started.
I thought it was a bad spot to put John Cena. The guy's practically a full-time actor now, and you're trotting him out there to have it was like a 15, 20-minute match with no commercial breaks with Elias.
And remember the last time when Cena was in the opening match for more than 15 minutes, he actually did good. But this time he was clearly kind of gassed out. I don't know if those CM Punk chants kind of riled him up too.
I don't know if it was that. I think it's just the dude's human, and the dude's like, what, he's like 40 now, and it's taken, while he does still train a lot, there's nothing like being in ring shape. And the reality is he's only been in the ring a couple times since he wrestled Roman Reigns at No Mercy. So I wouldn't expect him to be on his game and everything. And again, it's not like he had a great dance partner either. It's not like he was in the ring with like Hideo Itami, or actually, if he was in the ring with Hideo Itami, it might have been worse for other reasons, which we'll get to. But, you know, it's not like he was in the ring with somebody that's known to be a worker. He was in there with Elias. You know?
I love how you just gave him the name just Elias.
Yeah, Elias,
no Samson, no Drifter, nothing.
Listen, man, he is great until the bell rings.
That pretty much sums up a lot of other wrestlers, too, on the scene right now. They're good with the entrance, but until the bell rings, snores.
Yeah, no, it was... and Raw was kind of weird, too, because Dean Ambrose is out. They said up to 9 months with a triceps injury. I think part of it might be worked, but I could see at least 6 months for Dean Ambrose, given how much he wrestled over the years and didn't take time off. I mean, man, people don't realize this. They're really going to miss Dean Ambrose, not just because of the Shield reunion and the plan to not get Roman Reigns booed, but just on top of the fact that this dude has been on almost every freaking show the last 3, 4, 5 years. He never misses a show, and he's a reliable babyface. You can put in there at a house show, on a Raw, on a SmackDown, on a pay-per-view. He's Mr. Reliable. You can say what you want about some of his in-ring work. It's been kind of a mixed bag the last couple of years, but he's really put in the time and effort, and to lose a guy like that, especially in
it's a big hit. It is a freaking big hit. I'm not really a Dean Ambrose fan, but I've always saw what he had done in the ring. That I've always given him. But since it's a big hit, this is like what you just said. This kind of makes the Shield reunion disbanded for now. But the question is that once he comes back, is the band going to come back together?
Dude, who the hell knows? I think you already know my plan. I think you and I have kind of talked about this ad nauseum. I think I think everybody has that with a kind of a brain in WWE, or that follows WWE, that covers it. You know, at some point the guy Roman Reigns should turn heel, and you know, maybe, you know, when they originally reformed the Shield, I was like, you know, maybe keep him as a babyface for a while. But now that, you know, Jason Jordan of all people is teaming with Seth Rollins, now that Dean Ambrose is on the shelf, it's going to be really tough to get Roman Reigns consistently cheered. So, I mean, listen, I guess we'll see by WrestleMania time. We'll see what happens. Based on the last 4 years of evidence, I don't think Roman Reigns is getting cheered. But we'll see. I mean, I respect the guy. He's great.
4 years of collected evidence.
Yeah, I mean, in 4 years, right? I mean, 2016 was, and look, it's not all his fault. A lot of it's creative. You know what I mean? But like 2015, he was put in a tough spot. You could argue it was too soon, but he didn't win against Lesnar. 2016, he was, you know, put in a tough spot with Triple H, really late in a show, long, boring match. Triple H, you know, didn't exactly do his best to make him look good, or maybe he did do his best, and that's even worse. And then this year, you know, this past year, he had The Undertaker. And while it was a good angle and all of this is Maillard or whatnot, the match didn't deliver because Undertaker's just, you know, old and broken down. And, yeah, he still got booed. So I don't know. I mean, if they were pushing him as a guy that just doesn't care about crowd reaction, that's fine. But I know internally they want him to be the next John Cena. And while you could have the next John Cena who gets booed and cheered, every now and then, at the end of the day, you also want that breakthrough star like a John Cena, which I don't think Roman Reigns nearly is yet. And quite frankly, as good as he is in the ring, he may never be.
I agree with you, and I'll also say this: whether if he's getting booed or cheered, he's getting one of the loudest reactions in that arena. But we want to know who else is not getting a reaction in the arena?
Who?
Hideo Itami. 3 weeks in a row, this guy's been on the main roster, and no reaction whatsoever. However, he broke Brian Kendrick's nose and orbital socket. Did you read about that yet?
Yeah, man. I actually called it on Twitter, and I feel bad I did because I was actually there. I know Austin Aries says that Nakamura was the one that broke his orbital bone, but I'm pretty sure that it was Hideo Itami because I was at the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn show last year and this year, and I do recall the Itami hitting the GTS, and I think that was when Aries broke his orbital bone. I could be wrong, but I know he's hurt a bunch of different people. I think didn't he break Dash Wilder's jaw as well in an NXT match?
He did.
He's a really stiff dude, and look, I like the guy's work a lot. I saw some of his work in Noah. I was excited to see him come into NXT, but injuries have really debilitated him. It looks like the guy can't even work on his upper body because of past shoulder injuries and stuff. And yeah, he beat Brian Kendrick, but unfortunately he really beat Brian Kendrick. It was almost like a delayed reaction with the GTS. He hit the GTS. No, he hit like the fireman's carry part, like where he just drops the guy, and then the knee came up late. It was like it looked like the way it was delivered looked very fake and deliberate, but the landing was not. And Brian Kendrick's reaction just said it all. I thought, man, broken orbital bone, probably a broken nose, and what do you know? Unfortunately, the one time I don't want to be right here, So I wish the very best to Brian Kendrick, and we both do, and hopefully he can be back in time for some sort of WrestleMania payday if 205 Live's even around by then.
That's the keyword, if it's around.
I mean, because... hey, I'm just keeping it real, man. I don't know.
Dude, the brand is falling so hard that they needed Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy to sell tickets. That's when you know the brand is messed up right now.
Yeah, well, can't have everything in life. We had Absolution beat Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Mickie James. This is fine, but Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are still pretty green, but I think they'll get there in time. They're definitely with the right person and Paige. Kane killed Heath Slater, and of course they have the triple threat match built up with Lesnar, Kane, and Strowman, which I'm not really feeling. I don't.
Nobody's looking forward to this match. Absolutely no one.
Yeah.
And Kane is just there to eat the pin. That's all he's going to do.
Yep. Finn Balor destroyed Kurt Hawkins. Man, Finn, to me, and Jeremy Bowers made this comparison. He feels a lot like 95 Bret Hart, where Bret Hart was maybe one of the best workers. He was one of the best workers in the company, but he was feuding with guys like Isaac Yankem and Hakushi and just all these bums.
The dude that drumster Drozy.
Yeah, as opposed to being in the title. At least put this guy in the title picture. Seriously, at least give him his elusive immediate rematch, and if he loses, whatever. But at least give it to him. They just don't care. Woken Matt Hardy attacked Bray Wyatt. That was pretty cool.
Hey, at least that woke up the fans. I was happy for that.
Yeah, we had a 205 Live Miracle on 34th Street match, and that's all I'm going to say, but I don't even care about the result. I feel bad for all those guys. They're all really talented, and they're all just thrown into this bum-ass division. The division's not even bum-ass. It's a great division as far as talent-wise, but I think Americans have been trained, at least with WWE fans have been trained, and by WWE, that is, to look at cruiserweights as just it's whatever. If they marketed them kind of like New Japan markets their junior heavyweights, or how UFC used to market their light heavyweight or their lightweights, I should say,
or even how WCW and TNA used to do it too.
Yeah. But instead they kind of just market them as second-class citizens. And to be fair, WCW did after a while too. But initially WCW back in the day did a really good job with the cruiserweights, and then it fell off the wagon. So I think unfortunately WWE, the people there learned from the latter part of the cruiserweight heyday as opposed to the beginning. Nia Jax and Enzo Amore, they're Christmas.
Yeah, you saw all of that. He was about to go for that kiss until Alexa Bliss came up.
Poor thing. And Samoa Joe beat Intercontinental Champion Roman Reigns by DQ. This was a really good match, but lame finish. Reigns was fined $5,000 for shoving an official. Do you think $5,000 was enough, Julian?
Nah, not even freaking close. Raise it to 100,000.
Damn. I remember once. Did you remember the storyline where I think Sheamus put his hands on an official and got fined $500,000 by Teddy Long?
Yes, I do remember it.
That was ridiculous. 5,000
and over exaggerated.
5,000 is a little more believable than 500,000. That's for sure. Braun Strowman destroyed the Miz Taraj. Asuka declared for Royal Rumble. I think every woman's declaring for the Royal Rumble that's not the champion. She also took out Alexa Bliss. Although I think that they should do Alexa versus Asuka at the Royal Rumble. That's just me. But we'll see. And
you want to talk about that for a quick second?
Yeah, sure.
The way I see it is Nikki Bella might win this Royal Rumble, assuming that Ronda Rousey is not in it. But if Ronda is in it, she's going to win. I just have this bad feeling that one of them is going to win. Why? Because WrestleMania, according to WWE, is about the moment. And they're going to sucker punch both of them up to the main event for the women.
Well, I don't think Ronda Rousey would be bad. Here's the only thing with Ronda Rousey and why she may not be at the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble is kind of a hard match to idiot-proof if you're somebody that has no experience and are booked to win.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, unless they get like Natalya, who I'm pretty sure has worked with Ronda before, or at least Ronda's teammates, I can't see anybody else being trusted to work with Ronda. And not saying Sasha can't do it, and some of the other women veterans can't do it, but I just feel like if you are going to put Ronda in there, you got to put the most experienced girl with her, and it has to be Natalya to literally, walk her through it, so to speak. But if you want to limit that risk, then yeah, you probably don't want to have her in there. Maybe have her in like a multi-person match or something. Hell, maybe not even have her in a match. To be quite honest, you don't really necessarily need her in a match. Maybe you could do like a tag match or something, but she doesn't have to be in a individual singles match, especially if you're worried about how well she's going to do in the ring. As far as Nikki Bella,
I just have a bad feeling about this.
I don't know. Like, who would she face though? Alexa Bliss? Like, who would she face? Nikki's
on SmackDown, so she'll have to face who's the SmackDown Women's champion again?
It's Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, it's gonna be Nikki and Charlotte Flair for their rematch. The match that broke Nikki Bella's neck to begin with.
I like Nikki a lot. I'm an unapologetic Bella's fan, but I really don't want to see that. I hope that's not the case. I think, if Ronda's not in it, Asuka's got to win it, right? If she's not going to be challenging Alexa Bliss before then.
I can see it happening, but here's the problem. Would Ronda get gassed up in the ring and blown up within 5 minutes or 5 seconds even?
She's an MMA fighter, dude, and she was one of the best of all time. I think cardio-wise, I know in-ring shape's different from cage shape, but it's very similar too. I think cardio-wise, I think she'd be fine. I'd be more worried about her getting lost in there as far as spots go. I don't think conditioning-wise, I don't think there's any issue there. She's been training for a while, or at least allegedly training for a while. So yeah. I'd be more worried again about like spots and where she's at and match placement. That's why, like, to me, if you want to, for lack of a better term, idiot-proof a match, I think it's better if she's in like a multi-person match with the 4 horsewomen, especially Shayna. Shayna Baszler, her teammate, is freaking for her experience level, being only a couple years in the business, she's freaking awesome. But
yeah, I give that to her.
Yeah. So, and then we had our main event of Raw before we get to what happened on SmackDown. Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan defeated Cesaro and Sheamus to win the tag titles. Now, full disclosure, I really like Jason Jordan, even though this illegitimate son of Kurt Angle storyline is terrible. But, man, I cannot help but think that Finn Balor would have been much better in Jason Jordan's spot right now. Because now it's Rollins and Jordan as the tag team champions, which presumably, officially, or I guess unofficially, puts the Shield reunion on ice for good until Dean Ambrose comes back.
Dude, Jason Jordan is going to need a lot of help once he got the belt. That's exactly what I thought when I heard that happen. And all this is just to put Jason over, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think he's kind of like I know he's the new Roman Reigns, but he's one of the Roman Reigns type of guys who's just like, man, like Vince McMahon's like, God damn, we're just gonna push him. It's like Baron Corbin.
Don't get me started on him.
You're just gonna keep pushing him no matter what, or
Give him the title, damn it.
Yeah, give him the damn title. So, yeah, as far as Jason Jordan, a worker, I have no problem with him as a wrestler. I think he's an awesome wrestler. He's got a great look, and I think he does have a ton of potential. And I think it would have had even more potential if they didn't saddle him with this terrible storyline. So,
exactly. It's what I said months ago. They completely miscasted this guy. I know between him and Chad Gable, it made sense to put Jason in that role, but he's not doing well with it.
He's not, and they haven't done right by him either. So I think the only way to I think salvage this to me would be for him to turn heel eventually, and turn heel in a way that makes sense. I know WWE likes to throw out logic a lot of times, but here's what I would actually do. I would actually have it revealed at the end that either he lied to Kurt Angle about being his son to get ahead, and to strike out his own as a single star, or, and I guess this wouldn't really be like a heel move on his part, but Triple H's part, if you have the match, you find a way where Triple H reveals that actually that they've messed the papers up, and Jason Jordan is in fact not Kurt Angle's son, which is corny as hell, but at least it's an out for Jason Jordan. While trying to make him sympathetic. I mean, one of those two. I think the heel side. I think the heel idea is probably better, but I think it's got to be like one of those two options. If it's just a matter of he stays Kurt Angle's son and they just quietly drop it, to me that's kind of, I don't know. You need some type of at least minor resolution there.
But here's the thing about it too. If you return Jason Jordan heel, would the fans even care? Because they have to react, not just golf claps of bulls. It needs to be a large reaction for that to actually work. And he has to come out with promos explaining why every single week for the next couple of weeks to try to get that over too.
True. So maybe the authority, messing with Kurt Angle's paperwork might be a better storyline. It makes him feel, more dastardly and everything. And it does set up the probably really slow Triple H and Kurt Angle match we're going to get, which, by the way, I was really not excited for that match, but I was optimistic about that match until I saw both men at Survivor Series.
Oh.
Yeah. And say what you want about Triple H and his feuds that are kind of boring, but at least, the guy's a great worker, but he really looked slow.
Dude, I even said it on the Survivor Series review. Did Triple H had to be the last person to defeat Kurt Angle? Did he?
Of course he did, because why should we get over stars of this generation, right? Why have Jinder Mahal beat Triple H in India? Why? It makes no sense.
Exactly what I said last week too. I mean, even though my co-host went against what I said and had his own opinion about it, which is completely fine with me, but this was his hometown. He needed that win. It didn't matter if about 100 kids came up to Triple H. Yeah, that's outside the ring. What about inside?
Yeah. So then we had SmackDown, which was, I think more entertaining, also an hour shorter, which is great. Daniel Bryan announced that Dolph Ziggler has voluntarily vacated the U.S. title, so they're doing a tournament. I'm not really feeling this tournament. I know it gives superstars something to do for a few weeks on SmackDown, but I would have just rather had a battle royal or something to crown a new champion that same night.
I would have had that too instead of going for the next few weeks with a pointless tournament. I mean, you already saw what happened. Jinder Mahal defeated Ty Dillinger.
Yeah.
You saw that.
Poor Ty. And then we had, the only good thing is I guess Bobby Roode eliminated Baron Corbin early, so that's good. So we'll see what the next first round matchups are. But yeah, I wasn't really feeling that too much. Bludgeon Brothers destroyed Breezango.
Super Mario Brothers?
Huh?
The Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers. The Bizarro Super Mario Brothers. Before the Ascension saved Breezango. The best match of the night, by far, which was a pay-per-view quality match. I'm talking about an old-school pay-per-view quality match. Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable beat The New Day and Rusev and Aiden English to earn a title shot against the Usos. This is a great match.
I will also have to say this, too. Rusev is starting to get very much over with this gimmick he's doing now. I'm happy for this guy. However, once Vince starts to kill it, it's going to go into a bad direction because Vince and pretty much other wrestlers don't like it when heels are being cheered. But then again, we do even know if he's a babyface or heel.
I don't know. I think they've been more open to it in recent years. I think the problem is there's certain gimmicks that they try to work with, and there's other ones they kind of just brush off to the side. I would hope with Rusev they try to make this thing happen. And honestly, I would have had the Rusev and English win the match. They call an audible. You know what I mean? If your original plan was Gable and Benjamin, which it was for the last month or so, But you see Rusev getting over. Why not just make a creative change and say, okay, the next few weeks we're gonna build up Rusev and Aiden English? I don't know. It just, I feel like those two are gonna get lost in the shuffle again, unfortunately, because after Gable and Benjamin, right? Let's just say the Usos beat them. Who's next for the Usos? I mean, the only logical team that comes to mind is Zayn and Owens, and that's gonna take up at least a couple months. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, that's assuming if Zayn doesn't turn on Owens.
True. That is true. Although I feel like that feud's a whole treadmill, which we'll get to in a sec. Ruby Riott beat Naomi, and then the Riott Squad took out Charlotte before the Welcoming Committee. It's a terrible freaking name.
It's as terrible as Ruby Riott's music. It means nothing to me. Yeah. Does it? Does nothing for me.
And Lana, Tamina, Carmella, and Natalya took the Riott Squad out, which was kind of lame. Randy Orton with his, I don't even know what the hell this is. It looks like he got a hair transplant. It's kind of creepy.
Well, his hair reminds me of 2006 Orton.
I don't like Randy Orton with hair. It freaks me out. I don't like this.
I guess WWE has conditioned you to like the bald Randy Orton.
Yeah, I like this bald Randy Orton. Uncle Randy. Hey guys, come over for my barbecue. We'll film some RKO videos and I'll retweet some Fox News contributors. Like, I like Uncle Randy, and now it's like he's a cross between like Uncle Randy and, I don't know, midlife crisis Randy. It's a little weird here. But yeah, midlife crisis Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura declared for the Royal Rumble. Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan argued about the United States title and just a bunch of other stuff. Shane McMahon comes off like not the babyface in any of these interactions at all. As you mentioned,
and he's going to have a match in the next few months. It won't surprise me.
Oh God, Mahal beat Dillinger, as you mentioned. Corbin lost to Rude. Kevin Owens beat AJ Styles with the help of Sami Zayn and some botched interference from Shane McMahon in the main event. It was a non-title match. I am so sick. I didn't think I'd say this around this time last year. I'm so sick of Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles. I'm so sick of this.
Dude, none of their matches besides the SummerSlam match was any good. And you saw the Kevin Owens 365 of how Vince felt about it.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I'm a big Kevin Owens fan. I think he's awesome, even though he blocked me on Twitter for no reason.
Wait, he blocked you on Twitter?
Yeah, I don't know why. Dude, I don't know why. Dude, Nick Jackson blocked me too. Like, I don't know, man. These weirdo wrestlers just blocking me for no reason.
Dude, the only wrestler I'm blocked by is Shannon Moore. You want to know why?
Why?
A few months ago, he posted something on his Twitter saying that he only charges $150 an hour to non-wrestling personalities that has a podcast. And me, Joey Numbers from Wrestling Soup, and everybody else started to get on this guy. He blocked everybody.
Yeah, wow, you've only been blocked by one wrestler? That's like a great accomplishment. I got blocked by, I think on one of the accounts I run, I got blocked by Eric Young, even though we had him on the show, and he was great, because I guess like somebody, you know what happens? I get tagged by people that'll say bad things about wrestlers.
Yeah.
And they'll tag me, and I'll just get blocked, and I won't even say anything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think I got blocked by Velvet Sky. Who else did I get blocked? I mean, probably some other TNA people. Like, well, we TNA with TNA, and they used to.
I guess when a wrestler was still defending that company.
Yeah, when they're all defensive, they get in those moods. I think Jeremy Borash did. It's like, come on, man, get over yourselves. It's Twitter. So, anyway, Kevin Owens beat AJ Styles. This caps off Kevin Owens' pretty bad in-ring year. I'm a big Kevin Owens fan, but I don't think he's had a good year at all. I really don't.
No, this is one of his worst years. It started when he lost the Universal title to Goldberg, and then had an okay but match at WrestleMania, followed by the feud with Jericho, which was still good, but it did more to help Jericho than it did for Owens. Then he tried the Face of America gimmick, which I thought was fine. And then he won a U.S. title, then lost it to AJ Styles, and won it again, and then lost it again. Like, the booking of him is kind of lopsided this entire year, if you ask me.
Yeah, and I don't put the blame on him like as much as I put on like creative. Well, okay, I put a lot of the blame on creative, but unlike the what we talked about before, Roman Reigns, at least the Roman Reigns, you could say like, man, like, there's been very few times this year where Roman Reigns has had a bad match, like, at all, on TV or on pay-per-view. And with Kevin Owens, you can't say that. And I don't know if it's injuries. I don't know if it's just bad chemistry and awkward storytelling. I don't know what it is, but he's just... And it's crazy because, again, I'm a big fan of this guy. I've enjoyed his work for years. And there's something was missing this year. And I hope that whatever was missing, whether he be, a storyline he could sink his teeth into or whatever, I hope he gets better next year. Because, man, like, I don't know. I'm not ready for another AJ Styles Kevin Owens match. If they do a triple threat at Royal Rumble with Styles, Owens, Zayn, that's fine too. But honestly, I would rather see Zayn in that spot. I would rather see the roles reversed where Zayn becomes number one contender and Owens has to be the background player for him at least for a month. And that to me would make things a lot more interesting rather than just Zayn being the lackey. But even though Zayn's one of the best workers in the business, they clearly, for whatever reason, don't see enough money in him. I'd want to push a guy that's built a mobile clinic in Syria, a mobile medical clinic in Syria helping people. I'd want to push a guy that could work circles around 90% of my roster, but, I guess they don't, so it is what it is. So, yeah, overall, I don't know, man. I'd say it was kind of I don't want to go full thumbs down. Thumbs in the middle week. It was a holiday week in WWE. I wouldn't say it's as bad as previous years where, like, Alberto Del Rio killed Santa Claus.
I just showed my girlfriend that footage a few days ago. In fact, it was on Christmas Day when I showed her, and we both cringed watching that, man.
Brutal.
It was freaking brutal. Yeah. Trust me.
Well, folks, if you want to hear more about our wrestling thoughts, of course, you can visit thesportscourier.com, youtube.com/thesportscourier. Subscribe to the channel, like and share. We'd greatly appreciate it. Julian, where can fans find your wrestling thoughts before we get to some video game talk?
Alrighty, you can subscribe to the Wrestling Court via Podomatic, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and TuneIn Radio. And we are live every single week on the Showdown Network and at Mixler at 8 p.m. You can follow me on Twitter at JulianXCaliber. Follow me on Instagram at JaxoCaliber. I have a freaking strange name for those two handles, but it's whatever. And also follow my Facebook page, the Wrestling Court fan site. And you could also vote for the year-end awards, which I'm going to announce next week. I'm having a poll still open for one more week. So go over there and vote for every single category if you would like to. And that's pretty much it.